So I grew up in Newark, Delaware, and the abuse originally started when I was 3. Yeah, 3. So my first memories are of being sexually assaulted by my father.
Human trafficking in its simplest form is modern-day slavery.
My father would tell her, keep giving her Benadryl until she fell asleep because we can't have the meeting while she's still awake. And I would be awake and screaming and not letting my mom leave the bedroom. Yeah, my father would let people either into my bedroom or into my parents' bedroom wherever I was sleeping, and then stand guard in the hallway saying he was waiting for the bathroom.
People are beginning to talk about this in this state, and I think it's a difficult subject to broach because people don't want to believe this is happening in our country, just like me. I didn't want to believe it either. I couldn't hardly believe it was happening. But when I looked at all the other states and I realized what would make Delaware special, that it wouldn't happen here.
The reality is that this is going on all around us, and it's just, it shows it to heart. My reality was that I would get up for school every morning. I would go to school, I would do well in school. I'd come home, I'd do my homework, I'd play with the kids that were around my house, and then that night my nightmares was when my nightmares happened. I would host anywhere from 1 to 3 guys a night, just because of the factor I was still going to school, so I still had to sleep and get up the next morning to be at school. My weekends meant more, and my vacations meant that either that I had a lot more coming home, or I was actually sold to guys for an entire week at a time and sent to their houses.
With guns and drugs, you can sell them one time. A human body, you can sell over and over and over and over again until they die or are discarded. And then they're easily replaced because there's 300,000 kids in this country every year that are at risk for being trafficked.
I had always appreciated that stigma is attached to prostitution and trafficking, but I had underestimated how much. It's almost like the modern-day scarlet letter, and these women know it. They know they are viewed as almost subhuman persons. I've seen the stigma attached to them, and by reference to our court program, I see the smirking, condescension, and contempt with which many of them are viewed. And again, these are people who, in their young lives, were victims of abuse, and now find themselves as defendants in the criminal justice system. We need to shift our view of these individuals. A paradigm shift is needed, where we really can focus as a criminal justice system on the treatment needs of these individuals, and help make it up to them that now there are adults who care when they did not have an adult to protect them earlier in life.
It was small and nobody knew, and it was my own mother who was my trafficker. And the thing I want people to realize is that no one caught on to this. I didn't say anything until I was 21, 22 years old. So what it says is that nobody caught on to something that was so drastic and happening in my house every night. This is why we have to be more aware.
Yeah, I mean, how do these people even think that something that horrific is going on to one of their own students? Like, that just probably didn't even cross anybody's mind. It's a tiny private Christian school. Like, you don't think that the parents are involved in that kind of thing. It wouldn't have occurred to anybody.
Everyone has a responsibility to step up. Everybody has a part to play in this. And when you know about this problem and choose to do nothing, silence is then complicity, and you become part of the problem rather than part of the solution. Given the same circumstance, the same background, the same experiences, and the same trauma growing up as children, we would have all those dynamics together. Any one of us would be capable of being in a situation of being trafficked. The stats say that from the time of lure into trafficking to the time of death averages 7 years. The day of homicide, suicide, drug overdose, or HIV and AIDS. Which is why training and red flag indicators for communities and for individuals and for law enforcement and medical and social service providers and counselors and school personnel is so vital. We have a short window of time to not only identify it, but to reach in and help these people out of the situation and give them something, an option that they don't see that they have. And that has to be developed in this state. We don't have that in this state at this point, but we are on the brink of being able to develop that. But everybody has a part to play.